Get your gown on, let's go.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're gonna try that one more time. Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, that was so much better. I do appreciate everyone being here for our annual meeting of the Nash County Board of Commissioners, the Nash County School Board, as well as the Nash County, really not Nash County, but Nash Community College, Nash County Community College. It doesn't sound even better. But I do appreciate everyone being here. It is customary for us to begin our meetings with a prayer by a city commissioner and a pledge of allegiance to the flag. During this time, you're welcome to stand and join us in the prayer. You're welcome to use it for your own prayer at the time, or you're welcome to use it for a moment of silence, whatever you may have on your heart this afternoon. And at this time, I'd like to call on Commissioner Marvin Arrington for the prayer, and then Commissioner Wayne Outlaw for the pledge of allegiance. Commissioner Arrington.
Let us pray. To all the believers that we stand here today, believing in you, God, of all your power and the mercy that you have upon us. First, we want to thank you for all the blessings that you have bestowed upon us as members of the Nash County Board of Commissioners, Nash County Board of Education, and the Community College Board. We thank you for all the blessings that you have bestowed upon all of our young children and our adults. Tonight, we ask that you will continue to guide us as leaders, because the children that have placed their future in our hands, that we might provide a safe and productive education so that they will become productive and fruitful adults. We pray and ask your guidance in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Would you join me in the pledge of allegiance to the flag we all unite under? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'd like to call the Nash County Board of Commissioners back to order as we have left a recess meeting, and I'll turn it over to the chair of the Nash County Board of Education, Mr. Dr. Washington.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Nash County Board of Education meeting to order. I'll start with a motion to adopt the agenda, please. Is there a second? Is there any discussion? Motion made by Board Member Denton for the record, seconded by Board Member E. Bullock for the record. Hearing none, we can continue on with our agenda.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that.
Oh, I need to see. Just want to state for the record, we offer congratulations to Board Member Chavis, who is away traveling because she participated in commencement exercises to receive her doctoral degree.
Well, let's give her a big hand if we could then. Oh, she's been working on that a very long time. Just before we start, I do want to introduce one person. My oldest grandchild, who is a grandson, Noah Davis. Noah, if you don't mind standing up, you in the county will see him quite a bit this summer. He is a rising junior at NC State in the School of Design. And I have talked him into working with me and shadowing me this whole summer to give him a broad education other than what he learns in the book, be it good or be it bad. Thank you, sir. And at this time, at request of the community college, we are on item number 4, and we will call on the community college at this time to make their budget presentation for the upcoming 23-24 fiscal year.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everybody. So I am Lou Honeycutt, and I'm honored to serve as the 5th president of Nash Community College. And with me tonight are a bunch of people, which is great. Obviously, Mr. Outlaw's here. He's one of our trustees. Of course, he's here more than we are. Chair Catherine Fisher is here. Chair Paul Jaber and Chair Bill Marshburn are here with us tonight, as well as my much smarter colleague who's going to talk to you about the budget specific, Adrian Covington, here in a minute. So what we wanted to do is just give you an overview of what's happened at the college during the year, and then certainly move into the budget that we are requesting for 23-24. So first things first, as always, we could not do what we get to do. We have the best jobs in the world because we literally get to change lives every day. We could not do that without Nash County support. So we are certainly thankful for that continued support and partnership. So thank you for that. Oh, there we go. What I wanted to do is to give you a really quick overview, and most of you know some of this, some of you don't, but you're gonna know it by the time we're done. We were established in 1967, so we've been around for a while. We're one of 58 colleges in the state. We are a 125-acre campus now, which I'll explain to you a little more in a minute. Team Nash is made up of about 220 full-time and about that many part-time people that work there on the team. And that makes us the 11th largest employer in the county. And for an industrial county like ours, that's a pretty good position. So we're very happy and proud about that. To give you the idea of the economic impact, I mentioned this to y'all last year, but I'll always continue to mention it because it's pretty impressive. We have on the county, economic impact on the county of about $86 million a year. Now that's $22 million direct. And the remaining amount is because we've been here since 1967. The company that does these surveys takes into account a social aspect, an alumni aspect, and all those kind of things. They put the magic in the machine and it comes out and tells us that. As proud as we are of that number, as we go down the line, we're a little prouder of these. The return on investment for the county's investment of dollars into the college is 30-1. And the joke I always make, and it's really not a joke, if my retirement account did that, I would be fishing right now, not standing in front of you good people. But for the state as well, it's a 3-1 return. So that it doesn't cost the state of North Carolina anything to keep the college in place. So we're really happy about that. I am most proud of this one though. 1 in 38 jobs in this county is the result of Nash Community College. And that's something that we're all very, very proud of. Something the legislature did years and years ago, they made community colleges incredibly affordable. If you're destined to get a 4-year degree, so you need a full 2-year degree with us, you can do so for less than $6,000, which is just unheard of in education today. So it's an incredible low amount of money, very affordable. But we have so many things that are less than 2 years. We have things all the way down to a 36-hour human resources class that will get you a raise and a better job at work in your employment. So it doesn't take the full 6,000 to just get ahead. But even if it did, that's still a very low amount of money. We do, if the way we're measured at the state level and by our accrediting bodies is how many degrees, diplomas, and certificates we award each year. Our graduations are this week. We have about 6 this week. It's graduation central, but we do about 700 plus degrees, degrees and diplomas every year. But we do thousands of workers, training for workers every year through our continuing education program. So much more than 700. In the last full year, so we have another 7 weeks in this year, but in the last full year, so last year, the college served 14,063 people in the 4 areas that we have. We have university transfer, we have career and technical ed, which is like nursing, is a good example. We have continuing ed, which is basically everything else. And then we have basic skills or high school equivalency program. So those are the 4 areas that we do. I'm proud to tell you that this year we have surpassed 16,000, the highest number the college has ever seen. And we've got 7 more weeks to go. We're not exactly sure where it's gonna end up. Certainly over 17,000 for sure. The college on average serves those 68,000 people a year. About 30,000 of them come to Brown Auditorium, but for the centralized hub of activities that it has become. And again, we're very proud of that. So where a big thank you goes to the county, where the Pet Connection Animal Facility is going in right here, and it looks great, by the way. The county also deeded to us 14.143 acres back behind that. And our goal with that is to begin in the near future, we hope, the construction of a driver training facility. And what it will help is basically really 6 areas of the college, not just commercial truck driving, which we need desperately. We start a new CDL class every 5 weeks, and they're full, every one of them. So we need that area. We also need it for basic law enforcement, for the fire academy, for our line workers. Everyone that requires a Class A CDL will be able to get them on campus on this new facility. So we're very appreciative to the county for providing that land, deeding that land over to us. So told you that it's more than you think. We do about 50 degrees, 19 diplomas, 83 full certificates, 700 plus of these given out every year. But truly the key to the success, I think, of the college is that other thousands of numbers, which I'm going to tell you about more in just a minute, that we do in short-term workforce training. So our enrollment year to date, we have 7 weeks left, but I want to show you the breakdown because it's pretty interesting. Continuing education, 9,705 people, or about 57% of our total enrollment is Con Ed. Career and technical education, the nursing classes, again, one of those that fit in that category. 3,725 or 22% of our enrollment. Basic skills, the high school equivalency, 788 or 5% of what we do. And then university transfer, about 16% at 2,749. So the reason I show it to you in this format is that equals up to 16,967. So I've updated this slide since the last one, because this is the new number as of today. What it also means is 84% of what we're doing is to keep regional, local, and state workforce in place. So only 16% of our students are destined to move on to a university. So we are still what we were to begin with in 1967, a tech school. But we also are able to do and offer the 2-year degree programs as well. So what that 16,967 means is we had the highest number the college had ever seen the year before I got here. And that was 14,868. Then I came and I brought COVID and low enrollment. So it's been a bad thing. We dropped during COVID to less than 13,000, but we've been climbing out ever since. And this year, and again, we've got 7 weeks left, and we're adding 200 to 300 Con Ed folks on campus every week. So we really aren't sure what the total number will be, but it will be significantly higher than we've been in the past, which is great for us. So I know what you're thinking in your minds. If that under that it says, so I know what you're thinking. If we got all these numbers, I don't need any money. Why are you here asking for money? Well, this is the head count we serve. And let me tell you, we serve head count. We don't serve our funding unit. Our funding unit is called full-time equivalency. And what that is every person is congealed into what the state defines as a full-time student. And a full-time student in North Carolina is one that's taking 5 classes in the fall, 5 classes in the spring, and completing them all. 40 years ago, when I was in college, that was not really the case. It certainly isn't in today's world. So what it does is take that 16,967 number and congeals it or condenses it down into a funding unit of 2687. So we were very fortunate to work with Representative Winslow on his bills, House Bill 601, to study this model because it's just very outdated. So we're hoping that Nash Community College can have some influence on some good legislation. And then the thing we've had to adapt, what that means to us, we're at 70% part-time students. That's just the way of the world. The system as a whole, all 58 colleges is at 68% part-time. So it means everyone's not taking 5 classes in the fall, 5 classes in the spring, because we all know that life happens. They're working, they're doing all these other things. They're taking 1 or 2 classes and continuing on slowly. So that's why we're here asking for money all the time, because if we had funding for 16,967, we probably wouldn't be. But here's something I want to share with you because it's good news. And this is, we have been participating in a program called Skills USA for 10 years. It is a nationwide program, and it's a program, you can see it up there in the red, but it's a program that trains skills-based knowledge of how to succeed in the workplace in all the classes that we incorporated into. Our college has incorporated it into all classes. It's called a skillibus. And so we as a college have said, we want our students to be a little better when they graduate, no matter what area they're going into. So since 2013, so for 10 years, we've amassed 115 medals, which is good, is great. This year at state competition, we amassed 2 golds, and the golds go on to compete at nationals, which is in Atlanta in June. We had 11 other medalists, but the reason I share this with you tonight, that's impressive enough. But we received, and we're the only school in North Carolina to receive this. Only 24 schools in the nation received this honor. We were one of them, which means we'll compete at nationals for #1 in the nation. And that is what is called the model of excellence. And let me tell you, folks, it's not easy to get. We have an incredible group of people, students and advisors that work diligently to get to show that we deserve this award. I really think we stand a very good chance of being #1 in the nation for Skills USA. As it is right now, we're one of 24 in the whole nation, and there are thousands of schools that participate. So we're extremely proud of that. And we got it in the category of workplace skills, which makes me even happier. You can get it in the technical side or the computer side or personal skills or workplace skills. We were one of 8 chosen in workplace skills. So we think that's pretty impressive. And we'll hopefully report back that we became #1 at nationals in a month. So forward momentum, something that we're going to do. I continue to say, I'm not just saying that because the school board is here in the room with us today. I am convinced the way out of our workforce issues in Nash County is Nash County Public Schools. I think y'all hold the key for a population of students that's renewable every year that we can get into the workplace. I will tell you that the bond between the college and the school system is very strong at all levels. Dr. Ellis and I probably get along too well. He can never retire until I do because it just won't work if he's not there. But we just have this great dialogue on all levels on how we can make things better. And to me, that's key. We're a 1-county college, but it's key to have that communication if we're going to progress as a county. So for something a little different, and some of you, if you came to the first meeting we had on this, or if you've had lunch with me lately, and some of you have, you've heard about this, but something a little different for a college president to say to you is what I'm fixing to say. Not everybody needs a 2-year degree, a 4-year degree, or a full certificate. For 50 years, we have sold the idea to parents that you got to get a 4-year degree, you got to get a 4-year degree, you got to get a 4-year degree. Many large companies around this country, many in this state, are finally saying, why? If you've got the skills I need, why do I care if you have a degree? I need you to have training. So while we're going to do everything we can to get anybody who needs a 4-year degree, a 4-year degree, or a 2-year degree or certificate, we've got another group of students that we want to train on how to succeed in any workplace. What we're lacking in workplace today with most workers are the soft skills. I call them medium skills because they're not even soft anymore. To come to work on time, stay your full shift, put your phone down, all those things that I got beat in my head. We didn't have phones like that when I was young, but the things that we used to just get pushed onto us by parents and mentors, we seem to be lacking in that. So one of the ways that we're going to do that is with our Work in Nash Academy. The first one starts this June. It is a true partnership between business and industry, the school system, and the college. And what it is, we're addressing students that really don't have an idea what they want to do when they finish high school. If you look nationwide, that's about 40% in any given high school that may have an inkling, but they're really not, they haven't directed themselves towards an outcome. One of the things you've got to do to be in this academy is graduate high school. So we're going to help this group of students who may not know exactly what they want to do. We're going to get them through high school first. And then we're going to say, look, if you're not thinking about college, let us get you a job. We're going to go through an intensive training with them on soft skills, medium skills. And then our business partners who are part of this have all agreed. There's 12 so far. We think there'll be 16 to 20 before June. They've all agreed to give interviews to any kid that graduates from the academy. And Dr. Ellis is going to roll his eyes when I say this, because if you successfully complete the WIN Academy, you become a winner. Just saying. So he rolls his eyes so I say it every time I'm around him. But we really think it's just enough. This is that pipeline of students that if we engage them and get them successful, they'll stay here and they'll be successful. We have companies that'll offer $18, $20, $22 an hour. just for people that will show up and stay a month and just stay with the company. Let's embrace that. So that's one of the things that we're doing with the school system. Some forward momentum with our university in town, which, as you all know, we have a university in town now. We work very side by side with Wesleyan. We have for a long time. We will continue to, but they share our view, and I've shared this my 30 years of doing this. I call it the SL3. If you stay local and study local, you'll succeed locally. Every year we send our best and brightest out of Nash County to go somewhere else to get a 4-year degree. They may or may not come back. Hopefully they will. They may later when they have children, but let's give them a reason to stay here to start with. Now, I know that some of you as parents are saying, but I want mine to leave. And some of the kids that are graduating are saying, I can't wait to get out of here. Let's give them an opportunity. And so we work with Wesleyan. We're working on 2 different things. One is a partnership between the school system, the community college and Wesleyan. And it is a program we're calling the Nash County Education Network. We're targeting 10th grade parents. And what we're saying to them, if your son or daughter is destined to get a 4-year degree, they want to be a teacher, they want to be a doctor, they want to be a lawyer, something that requires that, do all the career and college promise, the free tuition classes while you're in high school, come to the community college, finish an associate's degree. When you do that, to go the final 2 years at Wesleyan is horribly inexpensive. Most people think private Wesleyan too expensive. That is not the case. If you're a commuter student between financial aid and scholarships, it is very reasonable to go there. Our promise to these parents is going to be, stick with us as 10th graders all the way through your 4-year degree. We're going to guarantee you your education through 4 years, less than $20,000. We think it's going to be closer to 15, but we put it up to 20. That's less than a semester at some big universities to get your complete 4-year degree in Nash County. We train them here, we'll keep them here. So that's another thing we're working on. And then the adult learner program is already in place. If you have a 2-year degree already in Nash County, you can take advantage of this inexpensive way to finish a bachelor's degree at Wesleyan. So we're very local oriented and working in that level too. Sometimes our location, I love where we're at. We're right almost smack dab in the middle of Nashville and Rocky Mount. But for some of our students and some people in the county, that's a barrier. It's 7.5 miles from downtown Rocky Mount, 4.5 miles from downtown Nashville. If you don't have reliable transportation, that can be a barrier. So we are looking at permanent presence in several places, but right now we're looking at the Braswell Library in Rocky Mount. I've talked to Mayor Brown about some places in Nashville to where we can offer services closer to where our students are. So we're looking at those kind of things. We want to also have a larger presence around the county. When I got here, I visited with all 11 municipalities and said, what do you need? And they all said adult basic education. We need high school equivalency. So we made a vow that we would take the college out to them. And of course, then COVID hit. But we have since come back and said, challenged my Con Ed people with me, go to the 4 corners. Well, I'm proud to tell you, our first classes are already going in Middlesex Baptist Church. We needed a place. They've embraced us, and we're in Middlesex. We've been at the Spalding Center in Spring Hope for a while, but we're expanding programs there. We're just about ready to start up in Sharpsburg with some adult literacy, computer literacy classes. And then Whitaker's is our next focus, and we're already working with them. So we're central in the county, but then we'll be expanding out to the rest of the county with adult basic education, high school equivalency, whatever else they might need. So what's next for us? What are we looking at? There's a lot of areas or programs we want to improve on. Our Skills USA, we had 20 students compete this year. My goal to the team is I want 40 next year. And I want us to be in a double number of events than we competed in this year, because that is such a critical team for us, and it's training them on how to succeed in the workplace once they leave us. So it's everything we're supposed to be doing. The WIN Academy, I already told you about. Tomorrow, we have our first meeting to roll out an adult learner initiative. This is the 25 to 44-year-old people. There are about 9,000 of them in this county that do not have higher education on their radar right now. We're always looking to benefit or help benefit business and industry with whatever they need. We can pretty much adapt to just about anything. Agriculture at the Farm Bureau breakfast, I made the announcement. I needed to make it out loud so I'd make myself do it. I'm an ag guy. I'm an animal scientist by training. This is a huge ag county. We have no ag on campus, but we will have. Sue was at the meeting and I said it out loud. We will have ag in the near future. So we'll have something there. And then we've got folks, a budding movie industry. If you haven't read the paper lately, you're behind the times. We have been in contact with them from the very start. So we think there'll be a lot of training and something that could grow extremely large for Nash County. So those are the kind of things we're looking at moving forward. So my top list of concerns for Nash Community College, first off is our recovery of enrollment loss during COVID. We lost in the first year from pre-COVID to COVID about 15% of our enrollment, and we've not gotten it all back yet. Because again, life happened and things have just changed. We were 50% part-time before COVID, we're 70% now. So that's what we're dealing with. However, I have a great CFO, and so we have really been very frugal with our federal dollars, and so we're good for a good while yet. But that's a big concern for us. On the faculty staff side, my major concern is about 25 miles west of here. And it is a $360 million campus being built for Wake Technical Community College. I'm in Wendell. And if you've driven by it, I know you see it because I see it. It just yells at me every time I drive by. It's a beautiful campus, but we've already seen the loss of some of our, the cherry picked people from it. You can live in Wake or in Nash County with the great tax rate that we have, but you can go to Wake County and make a lot more money. So we've got that concern, but I've said it to everybody that'll listen. They're not just going to hire faculty. This should be a Nash County concern because they need electricians and plumbers and custodians. Think about what we could do with $360 million at Nash Community College. It's going to be an incredible STEM campus, fully functional by the time they're done. So that's my major concern, is how do we keep employees who love working at Nash and love being in Nash County. But you know what? I told my board when I said, look, if they offered to double my salary, I got to tell you, I love Nash, but I'd have to look at that. I'm close enough to retirement. So that's certainly a big concern that I have. So I'm going to now turn it over to the smarter of the two of us and definitely the better looking of the two of us. Turn it over to my CFO, Adrian Covington, to talk to you about the budget. And then we'll answer any questions that you have.
Good evening. I'm just going to start out going through a few projects that we have ongoing on campus, and I'll fix them, get started up. First, it's been a long time coming, but we have finally broken ground and construction is underway on our veterinary medical technology building. And so you see a picture there, the work in progress. And that's about a 2,700 square foot building addition that's going to house lab and office space. And we're looking at about 300 days of construction. So hopefully we'll be moving into the new building toward the end of January 2024. Other campus projects are, as Dr. Honeycutt mentioned, the driving range and facility that we are working on. We completed an HVAC controls upgrade project on campus in our business and industry and S&T buildings, and that was funded through the CARES Act. Water heater replacements, carpet and paint rehabs, restroom renovations, and we got some parking lot resurfacing that will be coming up in the next month or so. And then a very nice addition is a nursing simulation lab. We renovated a classroom space and put in, this is basically mimics 3 hospital rooms. And so as you can see, the instructors can sit on the outside of the hospital room and view their students inside working with the patients in their hospital room. So that was a great addition. So for our county budget request this year, oh, and you all have a budget packet at your place setting too. So for current operating, we're asking for roughly 4% increase. And capital, we're actually asking for a little less this year. So in total, $2,960,842, which represents a 3% increase. So I'm gonna go through some of the the increases that we're asking for this year. First is an increase for our county paid employees of 4.25%. And that percentage is the same amount that is being asked for in the House budget for our state paid employees. And so that would be a 4.25% across the board for our county. And that number in total in the House budget, it's 4.25% for this year. And then the next year will be a 3.25% increase. So a total of 7.5% increase over the 2-year period. Okay, so in total, we have 7 full-time custodial staff, 2 ground staff, 6 maintenance staff, and part-timers, we have 9 custodial and 1 grounds. And in our current year budget, it was funded for us to add an additional maintenance position this year. So that was very much needed. And so thank you for that additional funds. The next item was approved by the Nash Community College Board of Trustees to ask for an additional $10,000 in salary supplement money for the president. And so this would be in addition to the 4.25% across the board increase. So the 4.25 plus the 10. Other increases in our budget request, we are seeing increases in some of our contracted services line items like waste industries, uniforms, and so forth. So a 5% increase there. We are expecting increases in our insurance coverages, property liability, workers' comp, so forth. So we've been in contact with our insurance provider who has provided some guidance on these increases, but we are expecting that. And then also expected increases in our utility line items, just for usage and the additional expense that will be coming down the pipe. Our capital request totals $268,500. Building maintenance, that remains the same budget that we have this year at $250,000. And that's for, you know, the routine things that come up, the carpet replacements and so forth, VCT, and any minor repairs. And then equipment, new lawnmower for this year, and also $10,000 for just miscellaneous maintenance and lawn equipment replaces as they come up. So again, this is the budget comparison breakdown again. So total ask is a 3% increase over our current year budget. Thank you. Any questions?
The document that we were provided didn't quite follow the way you presented it, I don't think. Which made it a little bit hard for me to
I
follow.
got you. Okay. So in the document that's provided on the first page is just the summary.
Okay.
And quite frankly, the second page is a summary too. It just breaks it down by what particular area, such as operations, maintenance, administration, and general institution. So the bulk of the information is on pages 3 through 5. So on page 3, the first section is the plant operations. So that covers our custodial staff and salaries, as well as the utilities and contracted services. The next section is plant maintenance, and that's kind of the bricks and mortar of campus. So maintenance, staff salaries, and landscaping, equipment repairs, facility repairs, so forth. And then on page 4, the top section is administration, and that's the president's county paid supplement is in that section. And then the next section, general institution, that's our all of our insurance coverages, legal fees, and so forth. And then lastly is the capital breakout.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Any other questions from commissioners?
I just wanted to make a comment, President. You were saying that a lot of students were coming out of high school and don't know what they want to do. Is that a big issue? That here in Nash County, students are graduating from high school and not sure what they want to do in life?
No, it's not just when you look nationwide, the new national average says that about, I would, what do you say, no, say, the national average is about 40% of any high school in the nation. It's got a group of kids who just, they're just not, they're not focused on exactly what they want to do. I would say, not necessarily, but I would say Nash County Public Schools is substantially less. But there's still a population of students that just really don't know what they're going to do when they finally graduate. That's who we're going to target and say, let's get you a good job. Let's get you a good job to compete. We can make college later. You know what I mean?
Well, that one kind of bothers me. I can remember, just going back thinking, I graduated from high school in '54. My class had 40 students in it, and every last one of them knew what they wanted to do when they graduated, when they took that road, cap and gown on, and went on to pursue it. And they had different areas that they wanted to go into. Some didn't want to because they knew exactly what they wanted to do in life, and they went directly to it. And what's happening now, that students, to me, we didn't even have guidance counselors. We just had good teachers. And they prepared every one of us, get ready for life. And I would hope that we could do that now, that you don't have that many, 40% nationwide coming out of high school and don't know what they want to do.
It doesn't mean they have to do both the things, it's just they just don't, they haven't settled on something. It is nationwide. Yeah, I graduated in 1981 with 8 other people in a really small school in Texas, and 7 of the 8 of us knew what we wanted to do. But even back then, we had one that didn't, and he turned out to be the most successful of all of them.
And one other comment, I think is good that you're setting up 2-year curriculum. So students go to college, 4-year college now, some tuition, $85,000 a year. And students parents can't stand that unless they get some financial help. And this is an area where community college could at least, and I had a banker to tell me, said that's where my daughter and son will start their 2 years at community college. And because it's expensive at 4-year institution, college and university. And it looks like they're gonna price themselves out of business.
The good news is we'll still stay at our new grade. And then if a student works with the school system while they're in high school, tuition fees are free. I mean, literally, we have students in early college that came to high school with an associate's degree. We have students not in early college that are just taking classes. They get very close to finishing a degree for free before they finish high school. I mean, there's all range of things happening. We're partnering and involved in every level.
It's good they, in high school, they exposed to college curriculum courses.
Absolutely.
Any other commissioner have a comment or question? Mr. Outlaw?
I just want to state that, I've been through this budget with the community college. It's a good budget. I think a lot of time has been put into preparing it. And, me as one of seven, I would be fully supportive of this budget that's been presented here tonight.
Dr. Honeycutt, did you have any other discussion you wish to do?
So thank y'all for having us tonight, and we always appreciate coming and talking to us.
I don't think this is an official board meeting for y'all, so you don't need to adjourn, I don't think, correct? All right. Well, we're gonna take about a 5-minute break so we can get out of here pretty early, and you're welcome to stay if you like and see where some of our other money goes that we must divide up out of the pie.
Well, any you want to share the one to speak to us, please feel free. I'm welcome to take that.
We'll ask that question when he gets through. Thank you.
Thank you. That's what Janice probably. Ready, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah. Calls back to order at this time, and I will, begin our Nash County Board of Education budget, and we'll turn it over to our superintendent, Dr. Ellis.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
We sat there and listened to Lou Honeycutt talk about collaboration. He just left during my meeting, so I'm gonna put that on the record somewhere. So
Duly noted, sir.
duly noted. Good evening again. Nash County Commissioners, thank you for hosting this annual event that we present the budget. I did want to recognize my cabinet. They were over there and I think they're all over the place now, but if you would please stand, members of cabinet, senior staff, please. Just thank you. This group makes it happen every day, and I appreciate you all being here tonight. Thank you. So tonight, we're going to go over some highlights of last year, as well as discuss challenges that our school system will be facing in the future. But just want to make sure commissioners understand that when you see these highlights, it's because of you. You know, you're gonna see building projects, you're gonna see schools, you're gonna see equipment. And without that support, this doesn't happen. So I just want to make sure I give you a big thank you. We've been supported since I've been here. It's been a good relationship, and you can see the fruits of your labor tonight. That's why I was so excited to share some of these highlights with you. My team will be speaking in their respective areas. If you have any questions, please just feel free to question them at the end of their part, so you can go ahead and actually get your questions answered. And I'll go to the agenda. So what we're going to do is go over a 2022-23 review. Mr. Hale's going to go over the budget for this year and last year. We'll talk about some challenges and then the request. This time we're going to have Shannon Davis.
Okay, good evening. First of all, I just want to go over a few completed projects. This is not a complete list. These are just some highlights that we've completed, some of the most important projects we've completed over the past year. First of all, as I mentioned, I think the last few years, we started out at the high school level. We've renovated every gym in the district, from bleachers to lighting to gym floors. We're now finishing up with all of our elementary schools. You can see here, this is D.S. Johnson Elementary. It's got the new polyurethane floor. Baskerville Elementary, same thing. We've abated all the floor tile, put in a new, less maintenance flooring system. And Inglewood Elementary, all of these were completed this year with capital funding from the county. We have one school left, Hubbard Elementary. It's on this coming fiscal year. That'll be the last gymnasium in the district that needs renovating. We do need to put lights in this one and a couple more, but as far as the floors, they'll be totally renovated. Roofing projects, what you're seeing pictured here is Southern Nash High School. This is the 400 building. It was a single ply membrane roof. You can see we renovated the entire roof this past year. Also, the Bailey Elementary canopy, that's the connecting between the building exterior to the multipurpose room. And also National High, we call it phase 2. We've got 1 year left. I'm calling it phase 3. We've got it in the budget next year, and the entire National High School roof will be totally renovated. Window replacement projects. This was completed with ESSER funding. What you're looking on the left, if you look at the very far left up here, that's the old windows at Edwards Middle School. If you look on the right side, that's the new windows. The entire campus has been totally replaced. We completed this with ESSER funding. You're looking at the picture on the right, that's Spring Hope Elementary. That's the 4 classroom wing that's attached to the new building in the 100 wing. Those windows have been replaced. Southern Nash Middle School is not pictured, but we've completed total renovation of the windows in the cafeteria, the 200, the 300, the 500 wings. So that's totally been renovated. Cooper's Pre-K, you notice on the far left, also down at the bottom of the screen, it's not pictured, but we replaced those over spring break as well. So the Migrant Center has been replaced, and Rocky Mount Middle School, we've had some leaking windows over the renovation that was completed back in the early 2000s. It was a small project, but it was one relatively needed that we completed also with ESSER funding. What you're seeing here on the left is Red Oak Middle School. You know, we've had a lot of congestion up there. Seems like every time we add linear footage, more kids get off the bus and start riding. What you're seeing here is 1,000 feet we've added. It goes around and loops back. That was paved also this summer. We did that with in-house, other than actually we gravelled it in-house and graded it and had it paved with outsourcing funds. If you look on the right, that's National Middle School. We did that last year as well. It was in this fiscal year, but did it due to traffic out on Highway 58. That's about 1,800 feet of linear footage. It's being paved between now and the end of fiscal year. Once school's out, we've already got the bids in, so that will be paved before the end of the fiscal year. These are some HVAC projects. What you're looking at on the left here is Spring Hope Elementary. That's actually an art room that
it. There have been changes in the way that I budget. Some things were typically like supplements were all included in PRC 001, which is classroom teachers, but all the supplements had been compiled into that one PRC. My methodology is regarding budgeting is I try to use our local budget to some extent to mirror our state budget. So you may see, for example, PRC 007 instructional support, that represents instructional support supplements because instructional support personnel are typically paid out of PRC 007 on the state fund. So I took those supplements out of PRC 001 and broke them down into 007. So that's why you may see some of these big changes between 22 and 23, 22, 23 and 23, 24. Some of these are also included in our budget were also increases in our retirement rate. Our retirement rate went up based on the planning information that we've received from 24.5%, which is the employer's contribution of retirement, up to 24.62%. Our hospitalization per employee, the employer's portion of this, has increased from $7,397 per employee up to $7,619. And again, this is based on the planning information that we received from DPI. Those two changes alone will have an impact of an estimated $450,000 on our local budget. There's also an increase in our budget for our international faculty. We will have to be covering hospitalization insurance for approximately 40 of these teachers that we have in our district. Because the agency that represents them or processes them into this country and into these positions does not provide medical insurance for these employees. So the district has to pick that up. This is our fund donation and grants. It's simply a breakdown of our projected revenue streams as well as our projected budget. Any questions?
Increase your health insurance.
I don't, it's, the hospitalization alone is $222 increase per employee. I don't think I calculated the percentage of that. No, I'm sorry, I did not. I just calculated the dollar amount. It's $222 per employee, assuming that this is the amount that the state actually finalizes in the budget. As was mentioned with the community college, you know, they projected a 4.25% salary increase. When this was initially done, the information that I had, I believe it was the governor's budget was projecting a 10% salary increase over 2 years. And I believe the House came back with something like a 7.5% budget. At the time I put this together, I estimated a 5% salary increase when calculating the supplements. And I used an average rate in calculating the supplements, because our supplements are based on a percentage based on the educational level of the certified staff. Oh, I'm Mr. Hale, I'm sorry, but no, you're fine, you're fine. I don't know how many there's, I don't have a specific number. There's 20 some odd, I believe that we are paying for. We're averaging something like, I believe it's about 1,300 students a month that we're paying for. So I'll be happy to get the exact number of the schools if you'd like.
How many charter schools?
Do we have?
Oh, yeah, these can. because we're paying for students not just in this county. They may go to Sally B. Howard over in Wilson. They may be going to Wake Academy, I believe it is. They can be spread out all over.
What was that? I mean,
I believe it's Davie County. I just got notification today of a student that was from South Carolina that came to Nash and is now in Lexington. And will be receiving, billing information. We'll be receiving an invoice for that student as well. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Good evening. Yes, sir. Oh, it does work. It does. Okay, here we are. So I'm going to basically speak to you about the ESSER funding that we have received over the last few years and how that funding was used. Also give you an idea of the remaining amount that we have left. And based on where we are in the district as compared to some of our surrounding districts, we're in a very good place for using all of our funding, and we plan to use every penny before these funds sunset. So the first funding that we received, which is the CARES funding, 163, we liquidated all funds in 2022. And we use those funds, as you can see. Can you go to the next slide? Thank you. It gives you an outline of how we use those funds. ESSER 2, which is PRC 171, those funds will sunset at the end of this school year, and it gives you an outline of how we've used those funds as well. We're still using ESSER 3 funding, and it is a remaining balance of about 13 million there. And you can also see an outline of how we plan to exhaust those funds before it sunsets at the end of 2024. Are there any questions about the federal ESSER funds, which you know it as the COVID relief funding? Remaining? Yes, sir. But trust me, we will spend every penny.
You say you're gonna spend every penny?
Yes, sir.
You got a time limit on it?
2024.
Okay.
Any other questions?
how was that money allotted to each school district? Was it have anything to do with number of students?
It did not.
Did not.
It did not. I have never fully understood the formula of how we received it.
Did we receive any Edgecombe County funds to spend on our schools?
That's a very good question. It was itemized by district, which is according to our LEAs. And my thoughts would be no, but I'm not 100% sure. But I can find out.
Would be interesting to know if it's not much trouble.
I will. Any other questions? Thank you.
Good evening. So I want to talk to you about school safety equipment and SROs for Nash County Public Schools. We are currently embarking upon the purchasing or leasing of equipment known as Evolve. It's a weapons detection system. And this is a fairly new technology that's been out since about 2016. The system has a single and dual lane systems. We will be leasing both for our schools. A single lane can approximately scan about 2,000 students in an hour, 500 students in 15 minutes. Dual lanes can scan approximately 4,000 students per hour. Again, 500 students per lane, 15 minutes. It is said that the system is 10 times faster than your regular metal detectors. They are easily broken down and mobile. The school systems in North Carolina that are currently using this system, Charlotte Meck, Guilford, Johnston, and Person County. And then there are several other counties in North Carolina that are currently in conversation with the company Alliance who provides the Evolve services. There are 25 school districts and charter schools throughout the country who are currently using the system. And this includes the states Virginia, Maryland, and Georgia. So the quoted costs for a 4-year lease on the Evolve systems are as follows. 4 high schools with dual lanes are traditional high schools. 3 high schools with single lanes, that would be the Early College, City High, and Tar River Academy. That total cost for 4 years is $929,576.01. Our 6 middle schools with single lanes would be 4-year total would be $673,208.26. And the total 4-year cost for the middle and high school would be $1,602,784.27. This here is a picture of what a single lane would look like, the entrance of a school. And this is how the dual lane setup looks. So we were fortunate enough for the 22-23 school year to receive a school safety grant for middle school and elementary SROs. Nash County Public Schools were already providing SROs at our middle school, but when we wrote the grant, we wrote our middle schools into the school safety grant. This was a 2-year grant that would be good for the 22-23 school year and 23-24 school year. And because Nash County Public Schools is considered a low wealth school district, we were able to get the 4-to-1 matching, which meant that the state set aside, or they said that an SRO should cost about $55,000 and that they would pay $44,000 of that cost. So if the state is paying $44,000 through the grant, the district would pay $11,000 or the difference between the total cost of each SRO. And there you see an example. If an SRO costs $68,000, the grant would pay $44,000 and the district would be responsible for $24,000. As I'm sure that you all know that law enforcement agencies are increasing their costs, trying to keep up, trying to attract individuals back into law enforcement. So there has been an increase in costs. And as you know, there's an increase in benefits as well that has gone up. So some of the numbers that I'm about to share with you over the next couple of slides, these are not exact numbers, but these are estimates. And so the numbers could rise and fall based on the individual SROs that are hired throughout the school year. Go back to the middle school, Mr. Queen. Thank you. So for our middle school SROs, we have 6 middle schools. Again, they were written into our grant. And you can see at $44,000, that would be $264,000. We're estimating that the total cost for middle school SROs will be $425,000, which leaves a difference of $161,000. Go back one, Mr. Queen. Up one. Okay. Now, if you can go back to the elementary slide. I had my papers out of sort. I'm sorry. So the elementary school SROs, you can see here, elementary schools being new, we asked for 8 elementary officers. We had 4 on the Nash County side and 4 in the city of Rocky Mount. And again, they were written into the grant, so there's the 44,000 times the 8, that gives you 352,000, with a approximate total cost for elementary SROs being $575,000, which will leave the district with a cost of about $223,000. The next one. Okay. Thank you. And then for our high school SROs, the state this year, 22-23, allocated funding of $58,480 per high school for SROs. The state had never done this before. They had never specifically allocated money. They just told us that you have money dumped into 069. You can pull the money as you see fit to use it for SROs. But this year, they added another pot of money, giving us $58,480 per SRO. So if you multiply that by 6, that gives you $350,880 that would be paid for by the state, and leaving us at a total cost or estimated cost of SROs for $480,000, with a difference of $129,120. Again, these are estimated costs. These are not exact numbers. Thank you, Mr. McQueen. So if we looked at SRO funding that is not covered by the grant or money specifically allocated for high school SROs, that funding would come from 069, which is our at-risk allotment. So the estimated cost from 069 during the 22-23 school year was $291,468.66. The estimated cost from 069 during the 23-24 school year will be $513,120. Without the specified high school SRO and grant funding, the estimated cost of 6 high school, 6 middle school, and 8 elementary school SROs from 069 during the 23-24 school year would be $1,480,000. Some of the school safety measures that we currently have in place at our schools are cameras in all of our schools. We've been fortunate enough to be able to purchase cameras to outfit all of our elementary, middle, and high schools. We already had cameras in our high schools. We had some cameras in our middle, and we started putting cameras in our elementary, but it was because of the grant funding that we were able to get for equipment that allowed us to fully outfit our middle schools and fully outfit our elementary schools. We have access control for all exterior doors. Access control for all of our main entrances, and all of our exterior doors are locked during the school day. We have SROs in each of our middle schools, each of our high schools, and we have SROs now in our elementary school. We have 1 SRO that serves 2 schools, or provide SRO services for 2 schools. So for instance, if I'm an SRO, Bailey, Middlesex, that individual would provide services to Bailey and Middlesex, being at Bailey in the morning, Middlesex in the afternoon, and then they would switch up during the next day or sometime during that week. So no one could say, I know they're going to be at Bailey in the morning and Middlesex in the afternoon. We also practice safety drills. Those safety drills includes fire, lockdown, tornado, tabletop exercises. We have the Say Something Anonymous reporting app that's available to students and families and community members. We're working on the Evolve weapon detection system, which I just shared information with you, that our plans is to have up and running at the very beginning of the school year. School safety plans are completed in the School Risk Management Plan website, which give access to law enforcement and emergency management personnel. We also have a district safety team, and we have the emergency red panic buttons in each of our schools. Are there any questions for me? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It did. Yes, ma'am.
The system, man, the whole time school is in during the day.
Yes, sir. Our plans is
You have
to,
resource officers doing this.
no, sir. Resource officers will be in close proximity. But because of legal issues that could come to play, if you have to search students, the initial contact for searching students, searching bags have to be done by our school staff. And then if it yields something in the search that may turn into a criminal act or a safety measure, then the SROs would take lead.
Everybody that go into the school building has to go through the metal detectors.
So, yes, sir, our plan is, and some, we're gonna have to work through some of it because it's not going to be easy once the school day gets started, depending on where the equipment is set up, where the front office is. There's some logistical things that are gonna have to be worked out, but the plan is to have everyone who comes in that school during the school day walk through these Evolve equipment.
Dr. Farrow.
So the Evolve equipment scan the book bags and all at once to go through.
Yes, sir. So the way that the Evolve equipment works is that it's called a free-flowing system where you just walk. And the individual walks, they don't have to take their book bag off. And let's say that they had a gun in their book bag. The system will pick the gun up. It will put a red box around where the weapon is located on that individual's body, whether it's on the bag or on their person. It takes a picture of that individual, so you know exactly which person to pull to the side, and you know where to look for the item on that individual.
So it picks up knives, some.
Knives, guns, and what they call weapons of mass destruction bombs.
Thinking about the kitchen, serving knives, forks, spoons, or whatever. Sometimes people can use those as weapons.
Absolutely.
They shouldn't be allowed to bring nothing.
And again, there's, when you're talking about school safety and safety measures, sometimes it's a tough conversation to have because sometimes individuals are not ready to hear that you cannot 100% safe proof. The only thing you can do is really try to put measures in place so that if something does happen, you can quickly mitigate the circumstances to save as many lives as possible. Any other questions?
Do you go through drills, do you have the what is the safe place for them to go once you have an active shooter? Do you have, the drills?
Do we have drills?
Yeah, for the active shooter and everybody know where to go.
Yes, you mean in a school?
Yes.
Yes, sir. All of our schools have to go through 3 lockdown drills each year. One of those drills have to be performed for law enforcement.
One last question, it relates to safety. Mental illness, mental health care. Schools concentrating on that also.
Yes, sir. We are fortunate in Nash County Public Schools. Since I want to say 2019-20, since the 2019-20 school year, we designated one of our school social workers who had a background and mediation counseling to become the lead for our mental health program. Since that time, we have been able to grow so that we have mental health services provided in each of our schools. So all of our schools have access to mental health services. We also were awarded Project Aware Grant, which is a 5-year grant that focuses on social emotional learning. That's another thing that we have in place at the district to help address some of the social emotional issues, traumas that young students may be bringing or students may be bringing to school, and plus just the mental health awareness and providing the mental health services for many of our students who often do not have access to those services.
Mighty important. It's beginning to be an issue nationwide. Mental health. And we got one person out here needs that attention. We're trying to lead on the national level. And in my opinion, mentally disturbed and needs attention. He needs it. We got a lot of people and we see students committing suicide in high school, and it's even more rampant than that in college. Students committing suicide and mental problems that were not taken care of or unnoticed. And we all need to be alert on that.
Yes, sir.
Dr.
Thank you.
Farrow, can you hear me? Hello?
This part, we're gonna go over our funding challenges, kind of broken them down from. The top 4 funding challenges is gonna be increase in salary benefits. We're gonna speak to technology demands. We're not gonna do a whole lot about the demerger impact because that's kind of like a floating one right now. Then teacher retention. We've broken it down as got a demerger impact, recruitment retention bonus, non-certified local supplement, technology refresh plan.
All right, let's make sure this works. Oh, no, it's not me. Sorry. I'm sorry, excuse me, as far as our salary and benefit increases, as I said before, I had estimated a 5% salary increase that may actually come out to be slightly less. Our hospitalization insurance could actually go up, what I've been told, but what I initially budgeted, so was a 3% increase in our hospitalization. But as you see, certified teachers, certified principals, classified employees, all estimated a 5% salary increase, and the bus drivers is 6.25. And I believe I mentioned this a little bit earlier. The retirement rate changed from 24.5 to 24.62. And our hospitalization went up $222 per employee for a 3% increase.
Good evening. Good. Well, I am Tremaine McQueen, the Executive Director of Technology for Nash County Public Schools.
And tonight I'm here to share some information about our refresh plan. 2 years ago, we developed a refresh plan, and the goal and the purpose of that plan was to place adequate devices in the hands of our students and our staff. So right now, we are actually in our second year of that refresh plan, and it has truly been a success. And let me remind you of what it looks like. So as you can see, our devices from pre-K through first grades, they will be refreshed every 4 years. Those devices are actually grade specific, so they will remain in those particular grades. So for our students in the 2nd, 5th, and 9th grade, will receive new devices every year. So those students would keep those devices up to 4 years. And we did it this way because we mapped the devices to the years of warranty, which is 4 years. So we also have about roughly 1,800 staff members. We didn't forget about them. And in this refresh plan, we plan to refresh their devices around, I think it's 450 devices that we are refreshing annually. Okay, and the cost to maintain such a refresh plan is $1.5 million. So we have utilized our ESSER funds to support this plan. However, like Ms. Wallace stated, the ESSER funding that this actually came out of was 171, which is ESSER Fund 2, and is depleting, and we use it all, and it'll be done December of this year. So we need to secure funding to support this refresh plan. And as I stated last time, it is my priority to make sure that the students and the staff have updated devices and the best technology so that they are able to do their work as well to get good instruction. Thank you. Are there any questions for me? Thank you.
Good evening again. So I'm here to talk to you about the recruitment retention efforts that we have in place. For the last 2 years, since we've been exposed to the ESSER funding, we have been able to use funds to recruit and manage to retain highly qualified teachers. With that being said, we're still at a deficit, and you know that there's still a shortage for teachers, not only in our state, but really across the United States. So I'm sorry. There we go. We do focus on those hard to fill areas, and they are outlined for you. We also focus on the schools that are the lowest 5% in terms of performance, and that's based on a tiering system that the state provides us. And we would like to eventually move those efforts from recruiting, once we're able to recruit and retain teachers, to a retention bonus to support those that are dedicated and committed not only to our schools and our district, but our community, and most importantly, our students. With that being said, we are requesting $500 to support these efforts. $500,000, not 500. Are there any questions? Okay. I'm also here to bring to your attention once again the local supplement. When we met earlier in the fall, I did share this bill with you, but I wasn't for sure how it was going to pan out. This is a bill that is currently on the table for approval with the state. And what it outlines is a state and non-certified salary range for the following groups of people: our finance officer, office support personnel, teacher assistants, maintenance supervisors and personnel, custodial personnel, transportation personnel, and school food service personnel. It pretty much outlines the classified employees that currently do not receive a local supplement. It is going to be outlined, and as I said, on the table for approval in its General Statute 115C-1216. They're asking that we pretty much come together and focus on a sustainable plan so that we could provide supplements for this group of classified people. And the reason for it is in the last 10, maybe 12 years, those employees do not get a step increase. Once they're hired, whatever years of experience they have when they're hired, they remain on that years of experience for pay purposes unless the state comes back and give them a percentage increase or step increase. And they're trying to alleviate people leaving the district and remaining within by offsetting their state salaries with a supplement that could offset the difference between them leaving and going to surrounding counties. So what I've outlined here for you is an outline of the different groups of people or employees in our district. The first column speaks to the total current gross salary for each group of people. If we were to consider a 1.5 increase for each group, that would give us $345,000 as a request to support this initiative. If we were to give them a 2% increase, that would be $460,000. And if we were to provide a 2.5% increase, that would be about a $575,000 support or request so that we could support these initiatives of a local supplement for the classified employees. Are there any questions?
So in conclusion, to get these numbers correct, the recruitment retention bonus would be 500,000. We just rounded this up. Refresh plan was 1.5 million. Local supplement non-certified would be 500,000. The extra benefits would be 450,000, which would be a total of about 2.95 million of an increase, which would basically look like this. At 24 million, it would be at 27.8. So thank you again for allowing us to present tonight. And if there are any questions, my team is still here. We can answer those now. We'll try to answer.
Not little, the 24,938 number. What is the increase that above where we started this year?
So that's not capital outlay, that's just a regular. That's current expense right there.
So what was that number at the beginning of this year, that first number? It may be in here somewhere.
I think it's on this slide.
Could you say that a little bit louder? Thank you, sir. So is that fine, the forfeiture is included in? It is in there also. Okay.
Correct. Nash County's 400,000, Edgecombe was 40. Right. Fine support.
And so Dr. Ellis, just so I understand, and I may have missed this, but the ESSER funding, you all have the second pot that's to be spent by the end of this year. Is that correct?
24, yeah.
And then the third is by the end of 24. So with the additional requests that are being asked to come up to the 27 million, those requests cannot be funded with ESSER funds.
Right, they're already. That money's been spent out, well, not spent, but it's been outlined for those specific.
So the funds are already planned for, you all have already planned for them, and then these are additional to those.
For additional.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions of commissioners about anything that school system has done over tonight?
It's, well, it's a challenging budget. And, we certainly look at it in a serious way. And, I can't guarantee anything, but, I'm sure we're gonna do what we can. And next comment I want to make, first of all, I want to congratulate the board for developing that resolution against that Senate bill up there, which doesn't make any sense in my opinion. And I don't know who put them up to it, but what they're doing is taking the power away from the school board from developing their own districts. And Nash County Commission, we have that authority to develop our districts. And I'll challenge you, you're gonna have to do a little bit more than just pass that resolution. There are hidden agenda behind everything folks do and consequences too. And sometimes it could be very bad. But now people are so hungry for power nationwide, all over the place, until they will step on the authority of others to get what they want personally. So you need to not just sit here, because it will happen if you don't work on it. The public didn't know nothing about it until it was already introduced. Not one, and I've said it in our commission meeting, I said it tonight. I am absolutely 100% against it.
Okay, moving on. No other comments. I'll turn it back over to Chair of School Board.
This unrelated to the budget, but since the two schools in my district, you have two schools closing. Cedar Grove and Swift Creek, and some of the people in my area want to know what's going to happen to the school once it's closed. I know you might not have made a decision, but they're asking that question.
Dr. Ellis, did you hear the question?
Yes, as far as I know, David will put those bills up for sale, just like the other.
They'll be offered to the county first. We have it against and this board, but that was it. And then they will. Whatever they do, we think the problem. Have it, get out, we will be paid for fair market value.
Anyway, a plan to put them up for sale.
A request to it. Yeah, okay. All right.
Okay, I'll turn it over to you.
No worries. I'd like to thank our county commissioners for hearing our requests on this evening. If there's no further business to come before the Nash County, Board of Education, yeah.
Well, I don't know what I need to make this as a motion or just defer it, but, I see some misunderstanding on the flag presentation. That was supposed to be at the last board meeting. I would like to make a motion that we have the flag presentation on the agenda for the June 5th meeting.
This is not the proper forum to do it, but
So
I
this
hear
will be
you.
our last meeting before, and since it was not presented to all board members before, I want to feel why all board members are present.
So Dr. Ellis is working on a plan, from my understanding, for that. But again, since that item is not on our agenda tonight, we can entertain that item tonight.
We can anything to add it to the agenda for the June 5th meeting, right?
Not at this session tonight. It's not an agenda item. Okay, so if there's no further business.
You took an agenda item off.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Motion has been made by Board Member E. Bullock for the record, seconded by Board Member Bissett. Any discussion? Hearing none, meeting adjourned. Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay. All right, we again thank the school board for joining us tonight, making the presentation of the budget. As Mr. Bellfield said, we will certainly do our due diligence with the request made, and we will certainly fund what we can. Manager has a big job this year. She's getting asked for money everywhere she turns, I think. But I promise you, the board is gonna do the absolute best we can for Board of Education, as we always have done. And there's no other business for the Board of Commissioners. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn at this time. Have a motion by Commissioner Outlaw, second by Commissioner Bellfield. Questions on that motion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Any opposed by a like sign. Board stands adjourned. Thank y'all.